Ladies and people with a penis. I don't want to make any gender assumptions out there, but if you have a penis, you're probably a man. Andy here, I went through depression, suicide, but you guys know the intro, whatever. We're here to talk about Mother Teresa and some of her amazing quotes. She has a lot of quotes that relate to self-improvement, sex, getting laid. She talked a lot about getting laid. She had a bunch of advice about getting laid. That was basically mostly what she talked
Yeah,
about. I'm
as
obviously
someone
being,
with a lot of sexual experience herself, I'm sure.
I think she died a virgin. Yeah, yeah. Anyway, her first quote that I really love is, or the 64th quote that I really love is, I used to believe that prayer changes things, but now I know that prayer changes us and we change things.
I think this is something that we talk about a lot, but it's having faith and trusting the process while also taking action. And it's
Hell yeah.
funny that a lot of what she actually has to say isn't just about like, I just pray to God and hope that things happen. She was actually very action oriented and made sure she did a lot in order to achieve what she did achieve. It wasn't just sitting around hoping, praying to God that things would be given to her. She took it upon herself.
Yeah, and how many of you can kind of relate to this? Maybe you're sitting around hoping, you guys out there, you're hoping that a woman will make a move on you and just fall into your lap, and you're like, please, universe, please, God, please, someone, please, women, please give me sex or a relationship or love. No, it doesn't work like that. It's you that's got to take the action. You got to talk to the ladies. You got to tell them that they're pretty. You got to tell them that you want to give them a big old kiss and do a bit of this stuff. It's not just going to magically fall out of the sky. A lot of people sit around waiting for a miracle or praying for a miracle and then taking absolutely no action to make that happen, like you said, wishing that they would have a better job, wishing they'd have more money, but doing nothing to make that happen.
And I think along a similar idea, people often sit around waiting for like inspiration or motivation or drive
Yeah,
to do
yeah.
things. And obviously, it's slightly different to what's being said in this quote here. But I think even prayer could be synonymous with like getting some sort of divine inspiration
Hmm.
or like having some magical willpower. But a lot of the time, like it's you don't get that rush of motivation. Doesn't feel good, especially for long term goals, goals
Hmm.
that are going to take a long time where you're taking a small step every single day. There's going to be days where you don't feel motivated and you
Yeah.
don't feel inspired and you just show up and you take that small action anyway each day. And if you sit around waiting to feel good all of the time, you're probably not going to see the progress that you want to see because you're going to give up after a couple of months max because you can't keep yourself going off sheer willpower and motivation and drive alone.
Yeah. How many of you will call you out right now? How many of you are sitting around saying, I will work on my goals or I will do things, I will take action when it's the right time, when it's perfect, when I feel good, when I'm motivated, when I have a little bit more muscle in the gym, then I'll go out and talk to women. Or, next season, I'll ask my boss for a pay rise, or I'll wait till next year before I start going to the gym or whatever it is. No, start right now. Don't sit around praying for a miracle. Don't sit around praying for motivation or inspiration. Be that beautiful change that you want to see in the world or in your own life. Take action right now. That's why we talk about baby steps. I'm trying to make it as accessible as possible to all of you. I'm telling you, you don't have to do big, amazing, huge things. In fact, do the opposite. Start with really tiny little baby steps and then just keep going. Next one we'll cover is the best way to succeed in life is to act on the advice that we give to others.
Yeah, I'm sure so many of you listening will have experienced the experience where you give somebody else advice and know that you should be taking your own advice, but it
Yeah, you
is
feel like a big hypocrite when you're telling someone else how to act. Yeah.
yeah, and obviously like there's a lot of things that maybe we like know to be true, but obviously then actually acting them out and acting upon that advice is that step harder. And so a lot of the time, if we are telling other people to go out and do things, we should probably go first and be the example. And if anything, lead by example
Hmm.
rather than talking up and telling people what they should do. Just do the action that maybe you believe others should be doing, and it
Yeah.
will encourage and inspire in a way that just telling them won't. And obviously, Mother Teresa, who said this, is the perfect example because she was the one that just went out there and fed the homeless and fed the poorest people in India. And my understanding is that she wasn't getting out there preaching and being like, you all need to be like
No, she
doing your
never
part.
said jack shit. She's just like, I'm gonna shut my fucking mouth and feed the homeless people. I don't give a fuck what everyone else does. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna do the shit that I want other people to do.
Yeah, she did her thing. And just by doing that, inspired
Yeah,
so many more people than telling other people what they should be doing.
yeah, for sure. You can even use this in dating. So many people are like, I hate when the opposite sex flakes on me and it's like, all right, have you ever flaked on anyone in your entire life? Well, yes, I have. All right, let's clean that up then. How about
Mm.
you get to a point where you never flake on anyone else? And then you can tell the rest of the world how to operate. Or maybe you'll be sitting around going, I wish that I could just meet a nice guy or I could meet a nice girl. And it's like, but are you a genuinely loving and compassionate and kind and unconditionally forgiving human being yourself? Fuck no. And so work on that, and then you can demand that other people do the thing that you're expecting them to do. In other words, improve yourself. And some people have crazy high standards, and it's beautiful to have standards. But then I like to think, am I offering the other people something that would merit my standards? You know,
Mm.
do I have a lot to offer? Can I really be demanding a guy that's like, 6'2", a multi-millionaire? He has to be into BDSM. He has to be Christian Grey. Has to be everything on the entire planet that I could ever imagine. It's like, okay, well, are you very attractive yourself? Well, no, I haven't worked on that yet. Do you have an interesting job yourself? Well, no, I don't. Are you a kind, sweet, feminine woman or a great person? Well, no, I'm not. But I'm just going to demand my thing, and they get mad when I don't get it. Lots of men do the same thing. There's entire demographics, or I guess you'd say entire communities of people who are in like the black pill or the red pill or incels who will get very angry that there's no woman in their life. And then you say, well, what do you have to offer women right now? And they're like, well, nothing. Maybe not a lot. And everybody has something to offer. But if you don't feel like you have something to offer, if you don't even know what you have to offer, then sitting there just demanding things from other people is probably not going to be very successful for you. So you could sort of look at this quote as like, I'm going to give to other people in terms of I'm going to have something to offer. If it's a business, I'm going to have something amazing, like in terms of my product or my service, and I'll offer that to people. And then some of them will give that back to me in the form of like money or gratitude or something else. So be the change that you want to see in the world, give, and then you shall receive.
And the next quote is: the openness of our hearts and minds can be measured by how wide we draw the circle of what we call family.
Yeah, this is a concept that I talk about a lot in a lot of my content where I say go outside and talk to everybody and you'll see that the world is your friend. If you're nice and kind to people, or if you go outside and make friends with everyone that you meet, you'll find that, hey, the whole world feels like your family. The same thing applies to dating. I say all the time, treat the opposite gender, if you're gay or lesbian or whatever, treat your same gender, but treat the people that you're dating as if they're on the same team as you. In other words, it's you and them, it's not you versus them. And when you start to do this, you come to see women or men or whatever as on your team, your teammate. You want the same thing, or you're seeing if you both want the same thing. And if you do, you're working together and giving that to each other, or giving that to yourselves, or sharing that with each other. If you don't want the same thing, beautiful. You move on, you talk to the next person. So the whole dating process can be a lot more peaceful, a lot more fun, a lot more enjoyable if you don't see the opposite gender as the fucking enemy, like you're in some sort of boxing match and you have to conquer them or get something from them or take from them or use them before they use you, you know, you're able to see them as your potential teammate or your family or your friend.
And obviously, this can apply to like everybody, like any
Yeah.
relationship that you have. It can be like a matter of seeing them as on your same team.
Hmm.
And it's because don't like nuns go around calling people, or like priests go around calling people like my brother or my
Hello, my
sister.
son. Hello, my brother.
Yeah,
Hello, my sister. Yeah.
they are familial terms. And I
Yeah.
think when you actually start almost reinterpreting the idea of family and who can be family,
Yeah.
and almost seeing everybody as your family, because I think our general association with like familial bonds is that there's very much a closeness and a loyalty and a devotion and a trust there.
And some love. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and so if you're treating basically everybody that you come into contact with that same energy, obviously that's going to be then fed
Mm.
back to you. And if you go out into the world with an open heart, you get that back.
Absolutely. And the next one is if I look at the mass, I will never act. If I look at the one, I will.
And I feel like this quote is so applicable to self improvement
Mm.
and goal setting.
Yeah.
And I believe Mother Teresa was talking about this in the context of like, if I try and help every starving person, or
If I try and save the world, then I'll just get too overwhelmed. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
but if I focus on the one person that needs my help in front of me,
Mm.
then I can do that. But this is also so applicable to if we have set like big, lofty goals. If you say, like, if you're earning minimum wage at like a part time job and you say, I want to make $10 million, you're going to get yourself so overwhelmed to the point where you're probably not going to do anything. You're probably going to get disheartened, or you're going to give it a really good go. But because the difference between, 10K and 10 million is so much, it can be
Mm,
disheartening because you're looking so far ahead, saying, I
mm.
have so much to go. And you're probably not going to stop if you focus. And it's something that you advocate so much in the coaching, with anybody that's working on big goals, just taking that little step each day. It's not what's the big goal, it's what's the little step that I'm going to take today
Mm.
in order to get me slightly closer to that goal, 1% closer to that goal. And that's what's so much more motivating, because when you can tick that off every day and be like, wow, I've been consistent with this every single day for 2 weeks, a month, like a year, that is very encouraging and it feels like a success
You
versus
build
the
momentum, yeah.
yeah, versus the alternative of like every day being like, I haven't reached my goal, I haven't reached my goal, I haven't saved the world, I haven't made $10 million, whatever it might be. It can be so much more beneficial, so much more motivating to focus on the one little thing you need to do in the
Yeah.
moment to make progress.
Yeah, I literally, it's funny you mentioned the coaching. We literally had this conversation in the coaching group like 2 hours ago, where one of the dudes is working on getting a new job. And so he's recording videos for the places that he's applying to. So he's videoing himself as like a little interview, which I thought is such a brilliant, genius idea.
Mm.
And he's been putting all this pressure on himself that he has to do like a perfect job with them. He has to really think about what he's saying, almost like script it and sit down and record a perfect video for each company that he applies to. And so for the last 2 days, he hasn't done that because he's felt a bit overwhelmed by that. He's like, holy crap, this is just so much pressure. And so we had a big discussion today, and I said, stop looking at the big picture. Stop thinking like, oh my God, I'm going to have to do like 50 of these. It's so overwhelming. It has to be perfect. It's stressful. I said, spend 1 minute on it today. And that 1 minute might not be enough time for you to record a whole video, but just write out a little bit of a script for 1 minute. Just sit there for 1 minute and work on it. And after the call finished, about 10 minutes after we finished the call, the coaching call, he posted in the group and said, hey, I did it, Andy. I spent about 1 or 2 minutes on this today and I made a little bit of progress, and I appreciate the reminder of the baby steps. So he is now one step closer to actually getting that done, when he just sat around procrastinating and avoiding for the last couple of days and feeling very guilty about that and beating himself up. So stop looking at the big mass of goals that a lot of you have. Like, still have those goals, think of them from time to time, but you don't have to do them all at once. You're not going to. That's not how goal setting works. It's wild to me how the brain works, and it tells you this lie that says, I have to go from where I am right now to my goal in like one leap.
Mhm.
Like, I'm supposed to just do one big jump and suddenly I wake up and I'm a multi-millionaire when I'm working minimum wage right now. No, it's a series of like several thousand or 10,000 baby steps. And then the brain will go, oh God, 10,000 baby steps. I have to do them all at once as a big massive, like a collection of steps. No, calm down, break them down into one step at a time. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And any big goals that any of you have, you're going to achieve by doing a bunch of tiny little baby steps. So focus on the first step. Try not to look too far ahead. You will get overwhelmed, one step at a time. And the last one we'll cover is, we shall never know all the good that a simple smile can do.
Yeah, this can be like your nice reminder for today, that like to go out there and smile at some people, because I'm sure we've all had that moment where maybe you're having a bit of a shitty day, or even you're just having a neutral day or a fine day, but someone just gives you, like, they make eye contact with you, a stranger, and they give you like a beautiful, brilliant smile.
Hmm.
And it makes you smile.
Hmm.
And every time that's happened to me, I'm like, oh wow, people are so friendly.
Yeah.
And that's so nice. And I think that's a beautiful thing, that it can cost so little to, or it can cost nothing. If anything, it can add to your life to be able to be giving that out, to be smiling at people, to be giving love in very small interactions.
Hmm.
And yet it can bring so much joy to the people around you. And then obviously the world responds very positively. Like, it is such a human response if somebody smiles at you, to smile back at them. And it's just a nice way to be. And when you're in that happy energy as well, like if you are somebody that's very goal oriented, or you want to be achieving things, it's so much easier to be productive and
Hmm.
achieve your goals and get the things you want out of life. One, if you're happy yourself, and two, the people around you like you and enjoy spending time with you and want to help you, because you're sharing in that happy, joyful energy.
Yeah, and if you apply this to something like dating, for any of you guys, going out there and maybe hitting on women, if you just go out with a fucking smile on your face, in other words, if you allow yourself to actually enjoy this process and see it as something fun rather than something you have to do or you need to do or you must do, so many people see approaching women as like a chore. I have to just crank out 100 approaches, 200 approaches and get it done. And I got to get laid. I got to lose my virginity. I have to have sex. Like it's a fucking job or something. But if you can take a step back and go, this is allowed to be fun. I'm allowed to have a smile on my face when I do this. I'm allowed to enjoy this process. Then guess what? The approaches go way better.
Mm.
Who would you rather be hit on? A person who has a big frown on their face and is needy and desperate and is like, you better fuck me, otherwise I'm going to be sad. And if you reject me, I'm going to take it personally. Or would you rather someone hit on you who's like, hey, how's it going? I'm super happy today and I wanted to share that with you and see what you're up to. I have I've coached so many people who are doing a bunch of approaches. Maybe they've done 100, 200 approaches, and they'll tell me, man, I haven't been on a single date, or I've only been on a couple of dates. And I'll be like, okay, no worries. Like, tell me what you're doing. Like, let's walk through it. And they'll tell me everything. And they'll be like, I'm trying so hard, bro. I don't understand why these women aren't giving me a phone number. And I'll be like, all right, like, let's role play it. Show me right now what you're like. Pretend I'm a girl. Show me what you're like. And they just have this like grumpy fucking energy, like they're not enjoying it whatsoever. And I'm like, bro, are you even having fun right now? Do you even want to be talking to this woman?
Mm.
And there's a part of them, some of them are honest enough to admit it, where they're like, no, I kind of don't want to be talking to her. I wish she would just hurry up and give me a fucking phone number and then hurry up and go on a date with me and then hurry up and just get through the conversation and then hurry up and just go to my bed and then hurry up and let me fuck her and then hurry up and stick around, for the next few weeks so I can finally say, I locked in a girlfriend. Yay, I did it. And it's like, bro, so you don't even want her to be there for any of those stages. You want her to just hurry the fuck up and let you bang her a bunch of times and then just say that she loves you now or something. Like, why on earth would she do that? Why would she have fun with that when you're not having fun? You're basically asking her to do something that you're not willing to do yourself. You're saying this isn't fun, but she should just have fun and go along with it. No. So it's got to start with you. If you want this process of hitting on women or any girl really to be fun, start that in yourself. In other words, you can have a smile on your face when you walk up to a woman and your results will be 10 million times more. Like that seems like such an obvious
Mm.
statement, but you have no idea how many guys will hit on girls with a frown on their face. Like they're grumpy. They're literally grumpy and hating and resenting the fact that they have to hit on women
Mm.
instead of seeing it as a fun thing they get to do or something that they're grateful for or an opportunity or like, hey, I get to meet this person and have a conversation and maybe we get together, maybe we don't. But man, I'm excited to just be improving and learning and growing. I had so much fun with my approaches when I first started doing it. It's probably why I had pretty decent results because I was like, this is fun. I can't believe I get to hit on someone. And I would have that infectious, excited energy when I hit on them.
And I think the beautiful thing about, I guess, the wisdom in these Mother Teresa quotes, and I guess why we've spent quite a lot of videos talking about them, is because they're so applicable to so many things. Like, obviously,
Yeah.
you've given a rather in depth example related to dating, but you could say the same for job interviews
Mm,
or
mm,
getting clients for your business
mm.
or the way that you interact with friends or your family or your partner, whatever it might be. Again, that same energy, if you're actually happy and wanting to be there, it can make such a profound difference as to how people treat you and the results that you get.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we will finish up. That's a whole bunch of videos about Mother Teresa. She changed the world in a beautiful way. She definitely changed my life in a lot of ways. I really appreciate the wisdom. I appreciate the hustle. She absolutely hit those streets and cold approached so many homeless people. She probably cold approached tens of thousands of people and like in an incredibly brave way. Like if you guys are just walking up to a woman and being like, "Hi, you're pretty, can I meet you?" That is not the same as walking up to someone who could potentially be dangerous, who could be going through some mental issues and a crisis and is dying on the street. Like, holy shit, in a country that's not even yours. She just went to India. She was Spanish, and man, my God, she had some balls on her. I mean, I guess not literally, but I absolutely respect the hustle. So, big shout out to Mother Teresa. Thank you for all the wisdom, Mrs. Mother Teresa. She has a bunch of books, which I really like. My favorite ones are A Simple Path, and I think there's one called like Let God Be My Light or Let Me Be Your Light, something like that. But all of her books are really amazing. She's written like 7 books, and there's a book about her. They're all really good. But Thank you, Mother Teresa. God bless you. You're probably fucking up there in heaven if you believe in that. Just doing some dope shit with God. Probably God gave you a pat on the back and he's like, fucking good job, woman. And she's like, yeah, nah, cheers. Yeah, nah, it was all you. And Jesus, my homie. That's what she said.
Yeah.
I'm directly quoting her.
Mm-hmm.
What are these beautiful people? What would we like them to do if they want to?
Sign up for coaching or crush your
Well, I
goals.
wasn't going to say, yeah, both of them. Sure, both.
Both of those.
Sign up for coaching if you want to, or go crush your goals if you want to.